The goal isn't to stop spending, it's to stop spending on a life you don't even want. This is Money Changes Everything, a Substack by Allie Jane Ayers. I'm Allie Jane Ayers. How to stop spending money, or at least stop spending money in ways that don't serve you. Key takeaways. A 30-day spending cleanse interrupts habits and reveals what spending is actually essential. Writing down purchases instead of making them immediately reduces impulse spending and regret. Cutting expenses only works if you address the big ticket items like housing, transportation, and childcare. The pile of clothes, shoes, and bags on the floor taunts me. The $75 red ruffled tup I've never worn once laughs in my face. The thrifted $140 oversized leather blazer that smells weird sneers. You could have bought a plane ticket to Japan or funded your IRA instead of us, they say. I cannot be alone in the shame of a good old closet cleanout and the realization that spending money on things may feel liberating in the moment, but ends up costing us more than the price tag. But this is not a post about guilt, but it is about pattern recognition. Spending isn't about acquiring stuff. It's about decisions, habits, attention, and the emotional calculus behind our transactions. In an earlier post, I made the case for getting honest about how expensive it is to be you. Not the version you'd pitch on a podcast, but the real-life version who shops when they're bored, says yes to dinner plans out of guilt, and thinks they probably spend less than they do because they haven't logged into their bank in weeks. If that's you, it's okay. In that post, I tracked the last 3 months of spending with no excuses. Not because austerity is virtuous, but because clarity is a prerequisite for change. If you did that tracking exercise as well, you now know your number, and maybe, like most people, you're a little alarmed by it. Here's the next step after doing all that tracking. It's not creating another aspirational budget that you'll abandon or a spreadsheet that treats your coffee habit like a personal failure. Instead, here's a framework to help you stop spending money in ways that don't align with your values. This is not about deprivation, it's about agency. Number 1, do a 30-day money cleanse. This is not a permanent cleanse, but rather a short-term audit. For 30 days, eliminate all discretionary spending. If it isn't housing, groceries, utilities, or a fixed obligation, it goes on pause. No casual shopping, no last-minute meals, no default transactions made on autopilot. This is not just about saving money. It's about disrupting behavioral loops. Research from the Journal of Consumer Psychology shows that pausing habitual purchases helps recalibrate your sense of need. What feels urgent at the beginning of the month often fades with time and distance. You are interrupting the cycle to figure out what you actually value. Some suggestions to help. Removed saved credit cards from your browser or phone to add friction to purchasing. If you have to pull the card out, are you going to go ahead and click the button? Avoid the places, apps, and habits that trigger mindless spending. Time to delete Instagram for 30 days. Tell someone what you're doing. Accountability matters more than your own willpower. At the end of the month, you'll have fewer transactions to review and a clearer understanding of what was essential. Number 2, keep a wants list. Not every desire is a problem, but acting on every desire in real time usually is. Start a wants list. Every time you feel the urge to buy something, write it down instead. Add the date and a short note about why you want it. Then close the tab and move on. At the end of the month, revisit the list. Most of it probably won't hold up. Some of it will. That's the point. Studies published in Psychological Science show that delaying gratification reduces impulsive decisions and increases alignment with long-term goals. That's why we're here, right? Putting distance between the moment of desire and the act of purchase helps you make better calls. This practice also reveals patterns. If your list fills up in moments of boredom or burnout, then spending has become your way of self-regulating. That insight is worth more than the things themselves. Number 3, reevaluate the structural costs of your life. You cannot fix a fundamentally expensive lifestyle with better budgeting habits. If your fixed costs are too high, the rest is just damage control. Start with the biggest line item, housing. The average American household spends about 1/3 of its income on housing. In higher cost cities, that number can climb to 50% or more. When half of your income is gone before you buy groceries or pay for childcare, the issue is not willpower, it's just structural. If this sounds familiar, the most powerful financial decision you can make is not switching credit cards or canceling streaming services. It's lowering your housing cost. That might mean moving to a smaller unit or a less central neighborhood. It might mean getting a roommate, even temporarily. If the rental market is softening, you may be eligible to negotiate with your landlord. In some cases, the best solution is to leave your city entirely. These decisions are not easy. They involve comfort, identity, and community. But if your rent is consuming your income and leaving no room for savings or growth, it's time to get honest about the trade-off. Sometimes the real answer is this: your city is just too expensive for the life you want. That does not mean you failed. It means you are paying a premium for proximity, opportunity, or prestige, and the cost has quietly become unsustainable. If you are not saving, investing, or building margin into your life, it may be time to reframe what success looks like. Geographic arbitrage is not just for tech workers or digital nomads. Moving to a lower cost area within the same region can change everything. Margin returns, stress declines. You are no longer one emergency away from crisis. You start to feel the difference between surviving and progressing. Number 4, ask what your spending is actually doing for you. Behavioral economists refer to this as symbolic consumption. We do not just buy things, we buy solutions. We buy escape, identity, relief, or control. When you spend, ask yourself what function these purchases are serving. Are you trying to feel safer, more in control, more accomplished, more seen? This isn't about moral judgment, but it's about understanding. Once you recognize what your spending is trying to solve, you can decide whether it's working. In many cases, the answer will be no, and that clarity is worth something. What this framework actually does. The purpose of this exercise is not to follow it to perfection. The point is to take your spending off autopilot. You're always going to spend money. The goal is to stop doing it by accident. Here's how to start. Do a 30-day spending cleanse to reset your habits and attention. Track your wants instead of acting on them. Review them with distance. Address the large fixed costs that actually determine your financial limits. Get honest about what role spending plays in your emotional and social life. When you understand those patterns, you'll spend less by default, not because you're forcing yourself to, but because you're finally in control of it. And here's my parting shot. The goal isn't to stop spending, it's to stop spending on a life you don't even want.